check in on the 10 car. Dave.
And guys, what they wanted to do on that pit stop was get the back end of that car up in the air just a little bit more. Their last pit stop, they were able to correct the tight in the middle of the corner, but it made the car too loose going into the corner, and so David couldn't arc it in the way he had earlier in the race. They think they've achieved that, and he's picked up a couple of positions since the restart.
David Ruderman will drive about 6 races in this car, and Bernie Lamar will also be driving, as he will be driving also some in the 32 car, the other Braun car.
So Andy, they're talking about getting the back end of that car up, and the way that you can do that, which is going to help you aerodynamically by getting it up there. But there is a maximum height that you can have, so they have to be really careful in making that kind of adjustment with those screw jacks.
Yeah, they have a little leeway after the race for these adjustments. You're talking about on pit road where you need to be able to turn these jack screws, which will change the height of the car, and NASCAR gives them just a little bit of leeway on that.
The battle for 7th place here with Brad Keselowski. We were just getting ready to talk when Bliss blew his tire that this hadn't been a great racetrack for Brad, but he's having a nice run here as he's trying to get to past David Reagan and take over that 7th spot.
Yeah, we talked to Brad during our NASCAR Countdown show, and he was certainly lamenting about the fact that in 5 previous races here, his best finish is 32nd.
Yeah, and I talked to Tony Uri Singer yesterday, and he said that they went a different direction than what Brad has liked here in the past in the front end. And he was talking about the springs, and I won't get into telling what he told me because that would, give a lot of people something else. But they did change what they've normally run, and it's a lot better for Brad here. Vince?
Well, they were really loose early on. In fact, Brad Keselowski said that it was 6 or 7 on a scale of 10 in looseness, but they've made some track bar adjustments each of the 2 pit stops, the last 2 pit stops, and the car is getting a lot better. And you see, he started 13th up to 7th, and he says the car is as good as it's been all night long. Shannon?
Vince right behind the 88 in that 6th car. David Reagan really happy with his car. They did not make any changes on the last pit stop, but I'll tell you right now he's running 8th. This is not going to be good enough for this team. Mike Kelly told me that they were not happy with the 8th place finish last week in Daytona. He said because we are running for an owners championship, we have to go for wins, and because of that, it has forced him to rethink the way they approach the race. He says we are willing to take gambles for this 6th car to get to victory lane. Doc?
David Reagan having an awfully good run, and as you see this 6th car, we mentioned in Daytona that David was only going to run 20 races. He will actually share this car with Eric Darnell, and we want to pass along our sympathies to the Darnell family. Eric lost his mom early in the week, and they are back in Illinois for services. I understand Jack Roush will be sending a plane up on Monday for a lot of the crew guys that want to be able to go up there and pay their respects. But our deepest sympathies to the Darnell family. Eric Darnell, who will start driving this car at Richmond in May, losing his mom early in the week. Kevin Harvick in the 33 car, moving in on the 32. That is for 5th position. Brian Vickers looking back at Harvick in the Chevy. And one of the big question marks, guys, coming into the night was how would the R07 engine perform? First time ever out of the box for the R07 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And it's been a bit of a struggle so far.
You have to look back to 4th spot to find the first one in the running order. I don't really believe that it's the engine that shows up so much here. It's such a handling racetrack. And this Joe Gibbs team has just been so well on getting their car balanced and done such a good job. And you see Kevin Harvick, he's got a pretty decent car too, but and he's got the new engine. But these 2 engines, the R07 and the Toyota engine, are very similar.
Yeah, not that the rest of these guys aren't really good race drivers either, but that Gibbs team also has Kyle Busch, who seems to be, pretty good here also.
Couple of former winners here, left side of your screen. The Biff, 3-time winner, and going by or trying to go by. Guy won here back in the fall of '07, Jeff Burton.
I think Jeff Burton's got his car adjusted a little bit now. It's going the right way.
Yeah, the first run, he'd fallen back pretty rapidly and got about 10 seconds behind in less laps than what we've been here so far. So it looks like his car's better on the short run or the first part of the run, which is exactly what they were trying to do. They put some wedge in the car and seemed like it's better. Now, if it just doesn't fall off, he can continue. You can see him utilizing the apron there down in turns 3 and 4 where he can really carry a lot of speed.
Jeff Burton said this week in the garage here, he said, what's people asking about the impact of no testing in the offseason? He said, like Major League Baseball players have spring training. football players, you can have a scrimmage, but race car drivers, he said, in order to be sharp, you need to be in a race or in the car. And he said that's why he wanted to run some of these nationwide races early on, because you got to be sharp, and the only way you get there is by being on the track.
Well, and every time he gets in this Nationwide Series car, he is sharp. Here's Justin Allgaier now taking a spot from David Rudiman.
Allgaier is the rookie competitor in the 12 car for Penske, and Rudiman able to use the high line to go back by.
Not giving it up so fast, but this is for the 10th spot. Justin Allgaier's done a great job. How about it, Vent?
Well, that's exactly right. And Chad Walter, his crew chief, has really been helping Allgaier along. Allgaier, in fact, said Chad Walter has been the key to his success early on, particularly in the comfort level. And you say, well, success, he was 32nd last week at Daytona. But remember, he got caught up in that accident and had been running pretty well beforehand, as you see Rudiman giving him a little bump on the back end. But Allgaier, just his 6th nationwide start, his first race here. And he says Chad Walter has helped him get used to the experience of not only competing against these Cup guys on the racetrack, but of what to expect when he comes to a new racetrack. A lot of things expected from Allgaier just because he's racing for Roger Penske, and I think this young guy has not been disappointing at all here in the early going.
Vince, we asked Allgaier about what he has learned from the other veteran Penske drivers.
Roger's very, very image conscious, and so for me that's been a big part of it. But also too, you know, each one of the drivers has given me little bits of advice as to things that I can do better to, you know, inside the organization, or things that I can do better on the racetrack. So, you know, I've gotten a lot of things that I can take forward and use, and hopefully be racing with them one day in the Cup Series, and use that information maybe to come back on them.
A lot of potential for this young man. Won the ARCA title a year ago. And Roger Penske believes this young man has a lot of talent. Maybe can get the victory lane early on in his rookie season in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Just past the halfway. Back in a moment.